Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Did the NATO use Scorched Earth Policy when it launched shadow storms as well as HIMARS as well as 60 plus drones deep into Russian territory, for which Russia has responded? Is this the beginning of World War III? That's the question that we'll be asking General Ravi Shankar, and he has his own take on this. He's a military man. He has been in military for many years. He's also a thinker. He's going to give us a whole new perspective about what is happening in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Sir, let's welcome General Ravi Shankar. General Ravi Shankar, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. Sir, how are you?
Namaskar, and thanks a lot for calling me again. And this is our joint program every week, Friday, Hangout. Today is very interesting. The way I look at it, we are on the verge of World War III. In fact, we've never been so close in my entire life. And while I say we are very close to World War III, there is also a good chance, 50-50 chance of ending in peace, this Russia-Ukraine war ending in peace. Or rather a deal. I wouldn't say peace, we'll see a deal further than that. So we are at that edge. One. Number two, in my life, I've never seen a medium-range missile being actually fired operationally. This is the first time it has happened. And if a medium-range ballistic missile is being fired with or without a warhead, things are serious, right? You're on a hair trigger operation. A lot of things could go wrong from now to the time that everyone thinks that when Mr. Trump comes in, this war will stop in 24 hours. It might not happen. But from now to the time Mr. Trump comes in, there's full 2 months more. Am I right? 2 months?
Yes. January 20th. January 20th.
We are on November 22nd. So the 2 months more. A lot of things can happen from now to then. So, and the way this war is now going, is going on some autopilot mode. We don't know who's controlling it, who is allowing what, and with what aim. Within the US, there is clearly a division of opinion. There are people of the current administration. After all, that administration is still current. There's a president, right? His policy seems to be continuing. He's still the executive head. But there are conflicting signals coming from the incoming president. So those issues are there. Then Zelensky seems to be having his own ideas about how to do things. And Putin is also doing whatever he wants to. So this kind of uncontrolled escalation, scares me. If there were two clear heads on either side, and we're doing controlled escalation, one knows till where this brinkmanship can go. Today we are in the edge precipice of a uncontrolled brinkmanship. And it is not only here, there are other places where this story is started. If you link those and then see, there is reason to worry. Having said that, we'll discuss whether we are going in for a world war, we're going in for a peace or not, or we're going into some kind of a, the forbidden path. What I'll do is I'll show you a presentation. I'll give you my version of how things have evolved, much like a military presentation. And then we'll discuss what we have to. If that's okay by you, or if you have any questions now, we'll take them on. I'll go for the presentation.
No questions at this point. Just a request to all of your viewers, all of our viewers, whether you're watching it on Ganeshot or on PGurus, to please like this video. We're going to start sharing some video, and this is essentially Russia's speech, Putin's speech, and then followed by US's response, and many more things that's going to follow now. And let's start looking at the video, sir.
Yeah, let's start the presentation. Yeah, the whole story today is: are we approaching World War III in Ukraine? Okay, that's where I start the whole thing from. And this is how the whole story started today morning, right? Late night yesterday. Uh, there was a medium range ballistic missile which was fired, and let's go at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, just why I counted 6 was there were 6 flashes which you saw. Now, what were these 6? These 6 flashes were 6 independently targetable re-entry vehicles, right? So now just remember this. So this was on Dnipro. It was a MRBM. It was very clear. It's a Rubej MRBM, which otherwise has a range of 5,000 kilometers. I'll get back to this a little later in the presentation. Now, following this, Mr. Putin came. He gave a talk today. He gave a talk for about 8 minutes. I got a clip of that. And then I edited it for about 3 minutes, where he explains himself what has happened and what his intentions are. And please hear it from the horse's mouth. He spoke in Russian. This is a translation, so it might go a little slow. You might find it a little difficult to catch up, but you will, right? Now I'll put on Mr. Putin's talk.
I'm talking about what happened in the wake of long-range Western weapons being used in the special military operations zone. As a result of the escalation, the United States and their NATO allies said that they give their permission to use long-range weapons against targets inside Russia. Experts know fully well, and the Russian side has underscored this time and again, that using such weapons without the direct involvement of military operators from manufacturing countries is impossible. On November the 19th, 6 ATACMS missiles manufactured in the US were used, and on the 21st, a combined attack using Storm Shadow manufactured in the UK and missiles manufactured in the US were used to attack missile targets in the Bryansk and Kursk regions of the Russian Federation. The fire and the ammunition storage in the Bryansk region, as a result of fragments of ATACMS missiles falling, has been contained. No victims. In the Kursk region, one of the command and control centers of our severed group was attacked. As a result of the attack and the countermeasures, there have been people wounded and killed. As a response to the use of US and UK manufactured weapons, the Russian forces have carried out a combined strike on one of the military industrial facilities in Ukraine. And this included the test of a novel intermediate range Russian missile system. A ballistic missile with a non-nuclear hypersonic payload was used. The test was carried out successfully. The use of the novel system, which was essentially an operational test, was carried out in response to the decisions made by the United States and their allies. And the further actions will be considered and decided based on what we see from them. The further course of action will be determined based on the threats to the security of the Russian Federation. We believe that we have the right to use our weapons against military facilities of countries who allow their weapons to be used against ours. And in case of an escalation, we will act as decisively in a mirror fashion. So once again, it is not Russia, but the United States who have destroyed the system of international security. And they are trying to preserve their hegemony and stoking a global conflict. We have always preferred, and we still prefer, to resolve our disagreements and using peaceful means, but we are prepared for any scenario. And if anyone has any doubts, they shouldn't. There will always be a response.
So very interesting. He said there'll be always a response. We're prepared to escalate. We're prepared to talk. And he's also outlined as to what all he's done. Now just see the US, I wouldn't say response, the reaction.
Thanks, Lita. So trying to remember some of the order of your questions. So I can confirm that Russia did launch an experimental intermediate range ballistic missile. This IRBM was based on Russia's RS-26 𝗤𝙑𝗫 intercontinental ballistic missile model. In terms of notifications to the United States was pre-notified briefly before the launch through nuclear risk reduction channels. For more, I'd refer you to state on that. And I think your third question was on our reaction to Putin's comments.
Right. So this was what the thing was. What came out is that US was informed. They were given 30-minute notice to say that we're going to fire this missile. And she's very clearly said it's a 𝗤𝙑𝗫 IRBM. But actually, what's coming out so far is it's a modified one without a warhead. There were just 6. They probably made a missile just for this event, right? Just to signal. Okay. Let me get ahead further, explain how the things went out and what are the issues involved, and then we will have a discussion. Okay, first and foremost, what triggered this whole thing? If you go back, America gave a few ATACMS to Ukraine. What are these ATACMS? This is it. These are missiles which are fired from HIMARS. HIMARS has two kinds of ammunition. One is the ATACMS and the other is the normal HIMARS ammunition. The ATACMS is got a range of 3 kilometers. It's a Mach 3 system, supersonic. Okay, and it's got a warhead which has submunition warhead and high explosive warhead, multiple. Like I said, it's a HIMARS. Yeah, look, this missile has been used since '91, and the HIMARS has been used by Ukraine for a long time. But this changes the equation because with this 600 millimeter weapon, this is the diameter 600 millimeter weapon. It's a mini rocket. I mean, it's a mini missile. I won't say mini missile. It's a mini space vehicle, right? It's got tremendous capacity, and with submunitions, you can cover a huge range, and it's very lethal. And I've seen submunition weapons fired. They're very lethal, probably the most lethal going around. Okay, this is something Ukraine didn't have so far, but was given. Okay, then what is Storm Shadow? Everyone talks of Storm Shadow. This is Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow is a combined weapon of UK and France. It's got a long range. It's a long-range missile with a range of 250 kilometers air-launched. Subsonic missile. Okay, subsonic missiles hug the ground. They can't be detected. As much as supersonic missiles can't be intercepted, subsonic missiles can't get detected. And even though they're subsonic, since they fly at such a, just above the earth, just above the treetop line, you can't intercept them. It's very difficult to intercept a subsonic missile. Okay, it's got a huge warhead of 450 kg weight, which can penetrate bunkers and hardened bunkers and ammunition stores and all. And that's why these chaps have used this, and I'll come to that. And it can be put on any aircraft, any Western aircraft, it can be put, right? Modified. There are a whole lot of given GR4, Eurofighter, Typhoon, 2000, Mirage 2000, Gripen, everything you can put it on. So this. Plus, a third thing which was given, Ukraine was given the go-ahead for anti-personnel mines. You might think, anti-personnel mines, what's that so special about it? Very significant. Okay. Biden has authorized use of anti-personnel landmines to Ukraine. They've already had it, go ahead. Now, these mines are put against personnel, attacking personnel and all that. And after a set period of time, they burst. So they're not permanent. But for the time they're live. What will happen? The moment Ukraine starts laying down mines, anti-personnel mines, and they'll put anti-tank mines also as a corollary to this. No minefield is independent. It is always a mixed minefield of anti-personnel and anti-tank. Then what happens is Russia can't take any more territory. Virtually the line gets frozen. Okay. Now then Russia will also put, Russia might have already put, in fact, Russia has already put mines in the south in last year. So this is going to solidify the lines and it will not leave any leeway for talks thereafter. No one will get any more territory. And we'll talk of the territory where this is going to be put, and I'll explain to you the whole story there. Okay. Now, so let me explain the story here. We know this red part and what is in black is the area occupied by Russia. But there's one little part here in blue, which is called the Kursk salient, where Ukraine did an offensive 3 months back. And they've got little territory, but that little territory is it's like, for Russia, Ukraine, it's gold. It gives them a lodgement into Russia. Okay, and Russia has not been able to dislodge them from there. If you go look at it, this is Kursk. What's important about Kursk? See, what's important about Kursk? If one needs to understand this. So I'll go back now. Kursk is here. Okay. Wait, let me show a pointer first. Sorry. Yeah, this is Kursk. This is Moscow. This is Voronezh. A main road. Okay, Voronezh to Moscow is 300 kilometers. And yeah, from Kursk to Moscow also will be 300 kilometers. They've got ATACMS. How many kilometers was it? 300 kilometers. So you see the importance. Right? And for the past 2 months, Russia has been trying to dislodge these Ukrainians from there. It is not feasible. Okay. The story doesn't end here. All right. Now let's see the lead up to this past 3 days. They've been doing tutu mai mai and kabaddi all over for the past 3 years. But what has happened? What has happened now that this whole story has come? So Ukraine was given ATACMS, they were given storm shadows, they were given mines, all this. Then Ukraine carried out strikes. So where all did they carry out strike? First, the storm shadow strike. They used 12 storm shadows at this place called Mino. Mino is a command center of Russia. It's a command post. And that's where they've also wounded a North Korean general. Incidentally, this has come out in a website called Institute for Study of War. Right? That if you are interested in following this daily basis, you keep seeing that every day there's an update as to what has happened. Okay, including the fact whether a Russian has eaten at 12 o'clock or a Ukrainian has gone for a drink at 6 o'clock in the evening. All those details are there. Okay, so they did this. That's what Putin was also saying in his talk. And then drone strikes. They've carried out drone strikes repeatedly at all these places. Right from here, look at this. This is Novograd, is far to the north of Moscow. They've hit Moscow. All these places, Bryansk, Kursk, Belgorod. All these places are important places in Russia. They've been hitting Russia. We think that no, nothing has happened and Ukraine is sitting tight. Ukraine is hitting Russia. It's been hitting Russia for quite some time. Okay? And even at Smolensk, Tula is Russia's major defense complex. Okay. Not only that, there's a place called Kotovo where they've hit their main missile dump. That's where the ATACMS have been used. And it is understood. I mean, what reports one is getting is Kotovo has got their main, Grad, Smerch, all their, Kinzhal, all these missiles, and it's a major missile dump which they finished off. How much they finished off, no one knows, but they have hit. And only because they have hit, their response has come from Putin. You see, if nothing had happened, Putin wouldn't have come and done all this. He's done this. Okay, it's not only here. They've hit this command post, another command post. Okay, I don't know whether this command post has been hit by a drone or a storm shadow or thing, but that has been hit and their chaps have been hit there. I mean, people have been wounded. That even Putin has admitted in his talk. Okay, Besides this, they've done more. You look at that Voronezh. Voronezh is a hub, Russian hub, and this place, Sosnokovo, whatever it is, it's an oil depot. It's a major refinery and oil depot of Russia, which the Ukrainians have hit by drones. So you see the drone attacks. Ukraine has already taken the war into Russia. It's a misnomer to think that Russia alone is hitting Ukraine. Ukraine has also gone into Russia and hitting. It's all non-contact warfare going on. The thing is, the thing which places now Russia at a disadvantage is this. For the past 3 years, Russia has been hammering Ukraine. And Ukraine has not been hitting deep into Russia. Now that has started. Okay. Ukraine is paying back with the same coin. So if Russia also gets hammered, like Ukraine has got hammered, they're in a problem. So that is why Mr. Putin has done this on 21st. Okay, what has he done? You understand this. First, he fired a Kinzhal missile and 7 into KH-01 cruise missiles. Okay, that's KH-101 cruise missile. It's a subsonic missile. 7 of them. From Volgograd, they've fired at Dnipro. That's the Dnipro is the first one city which I showed you where those 7 and 6 MIRVs came in, those flashes. And then from Astrakhan, they fired this experimental MRBM, Rubesh. Okay. There. Now, what is this? Why only Dnipro? Dnipro is a major city. And this is virtually a counter value target in nuclear parlance. So this is a counter value strike. In nuclear parlance, when nuclear attack can be counter value or counter force. Counter value is that you hit a value target like a city or something like that. Counter force is you target military force. Okay, military targets like ammunition dump or some tanks or something like that. Counter value is dangerous because it leads to major casualties like it happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So what Putin has done, and he's hit a counter value target and without anything, and he signaled next step will be, it's unsaid. He's also not said I'll use a nuclear warhead, but he said I'll do whatever it takes. And please don't underestimate me. I will do whatever this thing. And he's also acknowledged that he's got hit. And that's why he's responding. And he's also acknowledged, he's very clearly said, you have given him, so I will hit you. And next step he will take is, he says, look, I will now go into Europe also. Though he's not done that so far, but right. Okay. Is this the only thing? Russia has put out a vision for the future of Ukraine. It's come out in a surreptitious manner. And what does that vision envisage? It envisages splitting Ukraine into 3 different parts. One part is this pink and black one, which is already being occupied by Russia. So the annexation of occupied Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson, and occupied Crimea will be part of Russia. That's their plan. Okay, right. Then they want to install a pro-Russian puppet state in Kyiv under Russian military occupation. Now the third part of Ukraine, which will be the disputed western regions of Ukraine, will be amalgamated with the other countries. So they want to finish off Ukraine as existence of Ukraine as a country as it is today. After defeat of Ukraine, they want to secure a Russian-led multipolar international order. So he's put it out surreptitiously along with this strike. Now, what does this mean? Is this his bargaining position? So he's put his bargaining chips on the table in one way of looking at it. He's also put his gun on everyone's head. The gun on everyone's head has come through the MRBM strike. His bargaining chip has come from here. And he's playing Russian roulette. You don't know when he'll press the trigger. You don't know when the wheel will stop. Okay, this is Putin. Okay, it's not as if Zelensky is not playing. Now, like I said, Putin has explicitly threatened Russia and could attack West also. There's a lot of saber rattling going on. But the question which we have to answer and think, which we can debate, is this: that are Ukraine and Russia seeking positional bargaining or seeking their advantageous positions before Trump comes and forces a peace deal? See, Ukraine has expanded its strikes deep into Russia. Okay, so he's going to cause damage, and Putin, to obviate that, has taken this. No, this is playing chicken, right? Who will catch the chicken first? Right. Now, there's another issue which has come forth. This is from Moscow Times. Very interesting. This lady is their CEO or whoever she is of their central bank, Russian central bank. She's announced the exhaustion of almost all resources of Russian economy. As per this, if you go, the Russian economy is completely stretched. Of course, there are two versions on it. If you go on social media, one says it's going absolutely fine. Other says, no, it's not. But this coming from Moscow Times has got some value. It appears that Russia is also quite tired. So this is a case of two tired fighters. They're in the last round, 15th round. Mike Tyson versus George Foreman of the old days. So now they don't have the strength to bash each other. Whatever they've done. Okay, so गिरने से पहले दोनों गिर जाएंगे. Both might fall. That's a different story. Before that, they're saying, यार जो लेना ले लो, and then we'll bargain. That's the way the story is going. But like I said, in this thing, who's got the steering wheel? China is not interested in doing all this because China has got its own problems. We'll come to that. Right? No one is there to mediate. Trump says, I'll finish the whole deal. There's a lot of hope on Trump finishing. Biden is giving them, he says, you do what you want in the next 2 months. Like he's told Netanyahu also. So this is almost a free-for-all going on there. So that's the danger. The danger in the free-for-all. Will some miscalculation take place before peace settles? And someone throws a nuclear thing and everything then starts going up. Okay. And my way of looking at it is, this is the point. Russia is nearing its end point. Is it? Or not? We don't know. That makes Russia dangerous today. Okay? If Russian economy is what this lady says, then we are somewhere. Like I said, dono take hue ladakhu hai. Okay. There is something else going on in China. Please understand. China is doubling its arsenal, and they have started. This DF-17 is their hypersonic glide vehicle. It's a range of about 2,500 kilometers. I did this yesterday when I spoke about the hypersonic missiles and all that. Okay. So this is their hypersonic missile. Now, US itself is thinking of deterrence or upping their nuclear arsenal or modernizing their nuclear arsenal and putting new deterrence, what shall I say, deterrence positions in play. Okay? Or their deterrence lines in play or deterrence policies in play. So there is a dichotomy there or ambivalence there also. Will that go up? Will China do something rash? Because China itself is in a problem. Right? We are in uncertain times. If Russia does something uncertain, there could be a trigger effect. We don't know. Then let's you look at the global flashpoints. This is Ukraine, Russia. Obviously, it's come out as a nuclear flashpoint. Who are involved in this? USA, Russia, and Ukraine. At this point of time, Ukraine is hardly a flashpoint. But China and Russia have this partnership, whichever way it is. So in this story, all three great nuclear powers are involved. And then here, you normally won't look at it. But if you see what Xi Jinping has been talking in the past 1 week, he is worried about the Korean Peninsula. And he gave that, peace and stability in the Korean Peninsula is utmost importance to me. He said this to Biden last week. Why? Because that Korean fellow, Kim Jong-un, he is trying to distance himself away from China. And he is already aligned with Russia. And Korean troops are there already in, Ukraine. So this chap does something else here, and he's been firing missiles here, there, all that. We know that. If he does something here and there's a reaction, and that reaction comes from Japan or South Korea, after all, in that area, you have you have China, Russia, North Korea, and America, which are already nuclear powers in that circle. That's also a fragile circle. Remember, that's also Russia. Russia has extends till there, Vladivostok. So any saber rattling goes out of control here, it can go out of control there also. Add Japan and South Korea, which are also belligerent these days. So what happens? So that's the second nuclear flashpoint. Then, of course, our famous nuclear thing, Pakistan, India, China. Add Iran to it. We've discussed it. All these are alive. Today, the order of, problem or rather danger or, priority, whichever way you call it. First is, of course, the one at Ukraine. The second is the one at Korea. The one that circle around Korea. And ours, luckily, is the least. But in the first two, remember, USA, China, and Russia are all three involved. Common actors. Right? So we can take this away. You can take the slides away, please. So you see where we are. Now, when I say that, look, we couldn't have been closer to a nuclear war or World War III, this is my reasoning. See how things are unfolding. And who's got the steering wheel, we don't know. Right? So, well, we are in uncertain times. All we can do is cross our fingers and keep analyzing. And as far as India is concerned, we should be ready for any reaction from Pakistan. Why Pakistan? I mean, let me be very categoric. Why Pakistan? Look at what's happening in Pakistan. As of today, in fact, tomorrow or day after, I want to do that. There are some strikes going on, some lafda going on in POK. Rawalakot is band, Kotli is band. Till on 5th, there is some POJK Awami action and all that, and there's also already a presidential order which says you can't do all this. They've hammered police people and kept them in. There's a problem there. There's a problem in Kurram, right, today. And there's a Shias have been hit, and there's a problem on the Iran border. Day before yesterday, or one day before that, the TTP chaps, I think, have hit another post or something in Pakistan, and a lot of casualties there. They're in problems. China wants to deploy troops now in Pakistan. Now, in all this, will Pakistan lose its balance? See, you have to understand, Pakistan also has to externalize somewhere. Their rationality will say, okay, let's do something against India. So, these things are symptomatic. or rather like dominoes. One thing leads to the other. So we are in uncertain times. I'm not saying tomorrow it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that nuclear war will happen. No. What I'm saying is, in recent times, this is the closest I've seen anything happening. Before this, you have to go back to the time of mutually assured destruction of the Cold War era, 70s, 75. We used to talk of different facets of deterrence. What we need to now do as India, what happens there we don't know. As India, 1 minute, I'll just finish. After that we'll talk. What we have to do now in India is to sharpen our pencils and see, okay, what do we do now? What should our response patterns be? If tomorrow Asim Munir does the Putin trick, that's the question. What does India do if Asim Munir does the Putin trick? What are our responses? How are we going to handle the situation? Because this is a unique situation, right? So I leave it at that. Sree Iyer ji, all yours, your questions, everyone's questions, I'm game. You're muted.
In my opinion, unquestionably one of your best hangouts on PGurus, this one. The amount of data that has been covered, and there are people who will always comment. Let's set that thing aside for a moment. I just want to pick up on one thing you said, that we are saying that Russia and Ukraine are in conflict and Pakistan will decide to do something against India. How are the two connected? And I'll tell you viewers what has happened. No, I'm going to explain. I'm going to set an example first and then I'll ask you the question. So what happened, viewers, in the first Persian Gulf War? Iraq invaded Kuwait and Kuwait royalty escaped to Saudi Arabia. United States forced itself as the person who will liberate Kuwait. I'm saying that very guardedly, and you have to go back and look at what happened. And US Norman Schwarzkopf was the commander. They came into Kuwait and they drove out the Iraqis. And when they were leaving, the Iraqis burnt just about every oil field. And those things had to be massive capping had to be done. And not only did they do that, as they were leaving, suddenly they launched Scud missiles at Israel. See how this thing happens? You have come in first, then you are being driven out. You do Scorched Earth Policy, and you set fire to all the oil fields and then keep going. Those things are expensive to cap. Sometimes that oil field is unusable. You have to go somewhere close by to drill another hole to get the thing out. Kuwait had enormous amount of expenses and losses there. So now let's come back to this situation where now Pakistan suddenly feels it has to do something at India. General Ravi Shankar, why do you think Pakistan is going to react when it has no skin in the game, sir?
Yeah, it's not got no skin in the Ukraine war. I have no doubt about it. But you look at the internal situation of Pakistan. That's why I said there are problems in POJK today. There are riots there. Policemen have been beaten up. Some policemen have been abducted. At two places at this point of time, 𝗣𝗚𝗂𝘀 and Kotli. There's a presidential ordinance which has said you can't have meetings. And they on 5th, I think that POJK Awami Committee is going to have something happening. In fact, I was to talk about it tomorrow. So that's happening. Parchinar is near Iran, and Khurram, they're all near Iran. There's some Shia Sunni problem. Iran has reacted. Along the Durand line, every second day there are 10 to 12 policemen being knocked off as if they're, popcorn. And so far, Pakistan has not been able to do anything about it. And Chinese they are under severe pressure from China. So, where will Pakistan externalize this whole story? Just think of it. Some involvement by us, they will manufacture it is a false flag operation and start off. And for all you know, this might be instigated by the Chinese. China will use Pakistan as a pawn in this whole story. It's a cat's paw. This is the opportunity. Okay, so, and we are at a delicate point in our relations with China and Pakistan, whether we like it or not. So that's the danger. Right. Having said this, I also qualified earlier, out of the 3 circles which I showed you where nuclear flashpoints are today, ours is the least problematic. But in these stories, whether it is problematic or not, we should have a clear response pattern. I'm not saying that it will happen. If it happens, what do you do? And when it happens, you don't know. Some incident might happen, this will come to that. And people get ideas from other actions, no? Already we are firing rockets, missiles. We fired hypersonic missiles. Sometime back we did the MIRV. End of the month, again we've given a notification. In between, he's also fired a missile in the Arabian Sea. This game is going on, chicken game is going on between Pakistan, India and China also. China is also firing. So it's not as if we are not in this game already. The only thing is this game is so far signaling by firing independently. We have not crossed borders. That's all.
General Ravi Shankar, I don't know if you want to answer this question or not, but offline we're talking about how to intercept a Mach 10 hypersonic.
Yeah, I'll answer it. There's no problem.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, see, the thing is, a hypersonic missile comes in 3 forms. You have to understand this. One, it could be like this multiple entry, independently targeted re-entry vehicle. That means a missile goes up like we discussed 𝙤𝙬𝙤. A missile goes up and let's go 4 or 5 or 6 independent. Now all these can be intercepted. I mean, I won't say intercepted. All these will come at hypersonic speed. Hypersonic is anything above Mach 5. It could be Mach 10, Mach 5. Max so far is Mach 9, 10. And in any case, that's what I think Putin also said, Mach 10. So it's coming down. 5 of them are coming down. It's difficult to intercept all 5. You can intercept 1 or 2. Unless you know that chap has launched, you caught that launch the moment the launch has happened and it's gone into space and you destroyed it in space. Then you need space capability. You need ASAT capability. Okay, something like ASAT capability. I'll not call it ASAT. I'll call it ABM.
Sir, just for our viewers, ASAT is anti-satellite technology?
Anti-satellite capability, or ABM is anti-ballistic missile capability. I mean, we have both in the sense, if you have ASAT, you'll have ABM also. The targeting methods are different. So you have that capability, right? Now you hit it before he lets those 5 go, those or 5 or 6 multiple independent re-entry vehicles. Before they start dissipating, you hit it. Once they this thing, then you have to hit 5 of them. And all 5 are coming at hypersonic. That's what makes it difficult. So this is what has been fired now. The second is a hypersonic glide vehicle. That's the DF-17. That's the one which we fired the other day from, ours. So what happens in that is you fire a missile, it goes to almost just outside the atmosphere or at the atmosphere, and there it releases a glide vehicle, like a small plane. And that comes down because of less air resistance and the fact that gravity is acting from that distance. It maintains its speed, right? And it comes down at hypersonic speed. It can maneuver and hit the target. Okay, so that is also difficult to intercept. It's very difficult because of speed. Basically, because of speed, you locate it, but from the launch to the time to the target, the time is so little. Within that time, you have to first locate it. You have to then intercept it and all that, and you need to intercept it at much greater speeds. So that's the second part. The third is a hypersonic cruise missile. A hypersonic cruise missile goes, almost along the ground with a configuration and along waypoints. It can change direction and hit. That's the most difficult to, intercept. But luckily, there's no hypersonic cruise missile with anyone. No one has. The fastest supersonic cruise missile is what we have in BrahMos. That's the fastest supersonic cruise missile, right? Which can go at a very low altitude. Detecting that is very difficult. And if you can't detect it, you can't intercept it also. But the first two you can detect, so you have good chances of interception at the right time if you can intercept it. But beyond a point, you can't. There's no terminal defense on it. So that is what makes hypersonic very difficult to intercept. And multiple MIRV, since it's letting go 5-6 of them, you can't catch all. At least one will go through. That's the minimum. And if that's nuclear tipped, it's bad. That's it. I hope I put the thing clear.
That's true. Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. We have a few questions from our viewers now.
Let's ask.
𝗤𝙧𝙤 Shankaracharya, if Russia uses a tactical nuclear weapon, how will the West react to it militarily? And if a nuclear war starts, what kind of problems will India face with its neighborhood?
I just explained all this, Jay. It's
Right.
very simple, right? We've explained this. How will West react? West will have to take a call what to do. Okay, whether it wants to respond or not. But so far, I don't think my hope, like any good human being and rational human being, is no one uses a tactical nuclear weapon. And this game of chicken will be for positional advantage, before you come to a thing. This is the spike before, the settlement. So everyone is trying to end the war at a position of advantage so that when he goes to the table, he can talk. Right? So like, for example, if Russian economy is weak, its bargaining chips are low. Right? It has to bargain its way out. So there are issues in this whole story. So I'll not get into it. So the chances of tactical nuclear weapon at this point of time also are very weak. But how the West will react is up to the West. I can't say this. Okay. But what problem we'll face in our neighborhood, we are very clear. Pakistan. That's why I told you. What should our response be? Well, ask Mr. Modi. I don't know. I'll be very honest with you. That's why I said we have to think through this.
Next one, please. E wants to know, General, sir, is USA trying to deplete Russian stockpile of ICBMs with non-nuclear warheads to get ready for defense of Taiwan from CCP so that Russia is not supporting?
Too far ahead. I don't think so. Don't. The problem with most of us is that you just let your imagination go wild, like Jules Verne. Okay. I hope you people know who Jules Verne was. Jules Verne used to write
science fiction writer
in the last century. Okay.
Journey to the Center of Earth.
Yeah, Journey to the Center of Earth type. So you have started thinking like Jules Verne. No.
Have you read Isaac Asimov?
Yeah.
Jayant Kashyap wants to know, sir, the Obama regime messed up foreign relations for Trump with Russia before his first term by expelling their diplomats. Is this a similar play by the Biden regime?
Possible. Look, let me put it this way. The Obama administration, probably in my assessment, in hindsight, not only in the hindsight, even during his second term, was probably one of the weakest administrations USA ever had. They went into poor relations with not only Russia, with China also. In fact, with China, they didn't do anything. They didn't have poor relations. They didn't have the guts to stop China from occupying those islands on the South China Sea.
Yes, Scarborough Shoals and other stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Scarborough Shoal and all that. And that is why most of the problems today which you are facing is thanks to, one part is Republican George Bush, who went into Iraq for no good reason. And the second is Obama, who went nowhere for every good reason. Okay. Now, I won't say that Biden is leaving a bad situation for the Trump administration. I'll put it this way: Biden has generally followed what Trump did against China. Generally, they are on the same lines. Okay, but what's happened in uh, Ukraine? I thought Ukraine was completely avoidable. Completely avoidable. But this has been the democratic way of doing things in Russia. If you see, whenever a democratic president was in chair, NATO has expanded,
Yep. Yep.
right? So, and that has caused this misery. This I thought was not needed at all. And for good reasons, you must hear John Mearsheimer and Jeffrey Sachs. They have very clear views on this. And they have always felt that, look, I don't know why the Americans have gone here. Yeah, Russia was not your enemy. Their enemy was China. By going into Russia, they have said you have pushed Russia to China. Both, you are now to fight with both. So that's the problem which the Democrats as a whole, not only Biden, Democrats as a whole, have left. One of the reasons, and look, I have no interest in American politics. I couldn't care a damn who the president is, whether he makes America great again or not. I couldn't care a damn. But the fact is, their overall policies affects the world at large, right? Why I am hoping for this Trump administration to do something is if it can get the Ukraine-Russia war to a close, that problem of Russia-China, closeness, you can stem it. It will not go away easily. Overnight, will not become, far away. At least you can put some water on it. It's like now it's on fire. Plus, we will have an off ramp from our problems in Russia, with Russia rather, because of our friendship with Russia. And the good thing is the European Union is also now veering out around to the fact that you need India even to deal with Russia. And they don't see us buying Russian oil anymore as a bad thing because they need your oil. The same oil which you buy there imported from Russia, the Europeans are buying refined from you at also cheap rates. So in a way, they don't mind because they're getting cheap oil. And incidentally, Europe, before I forget, they also get from Poland and those Czechoslovakia and all those other countries also who buy discounted Russian oil and sell it to the West. So this is a larger, deeper game going on. Yeah.
Sir, if I could add 2 cents to what you just said, Vishnu Gopi's question will come in just a minute. Viewers, this doesn't have any proof, but I will tell you some things that happened. What led up to the Ukraine war? A friend of mine who is not a Ukrainian, who's not Russian, who is totally independent like I am, and we were discussing all this stuff. And he told me some things. How much is true, I don't know. But basically what it was we have to go back to the time when all oil that was being pumped from Russia, that was being sent into the West, like Poland, Germany, and beyond, all used to go through Ukraine. And Russia used to get, right? Yeah. Until the 2 new links came, Nord Stream links came. Nord Stream, something like Nord something. Nord Stream came along. Nord Stream came along. So until Nord Stream came along, this used to be the way, and Russia used to always get mad that Ukraine keeps pilfering the oil that is supposed to go through its territory and going and not pay for it. So Russia wanted to cut that. So what did they do? They came up with Nord Stream 1. Nord Stream 1 was so successful that I think they convinced Germany to fund the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Now what has happened? With Nord Stream 2 getting functional, no more oil would go through Ukraine. Russian oil would go through Ukraine on its way to the West. Okay, so you understand where or why Nord Stream 2 was disabled allegedly by somebody from Ukraine. We don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you
is oil goes through Ukraine right now. So
yeah. So these are all some of the things that don't get discussed out in the open. And these are all reasons why all this has happened now. And we have to wait and see where these things lead. Certainly, India has been a big beneficiary. Like you said, getting cheap crude, turning it around in 29 days or 28 days, giving refined output at a much lower cost, giving some breathing room for United States. Otherwise, US would have been forced. See, they actually depleted 60%. US depleted 60% of strategic petroleum reserve. Viewers, this is something that might not be easy for you to imagine. In the United States, they have these huge underground caverns, and these caverns are storing crude oil. Crude can stay forever. Only when you refine it, you have to use it. There is a use by date. And these are called SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve. There was a time period when India wasn't coming online with its refined oil for the west of Europe, and US was taking out its own SPR. It didn't have the refining capacity to take all that and give it to the West at the price the Western Europe wanted to pay. And India actually was the safety valve that gave you the timely response, as well as at a price that Western Europe could breathe. A lot of things have happened. So one wonders, then why is it that US is going after India now? It just, sometimes these things are very difficult to fathom as to why. India actually helped out Western Europe, India helped out United States, India helped out Russia, while Russia is fighting Ukraine. So you make sense of this. I mean, that's where the thing is going to stop. Right now, Russia has a dwindling population. In my opinion, this is the main reason. And they need more bodies, more people. And they think that if they stop this, and since they have played their hand by attacking Ukraine, that whatever is the form that Western Europe is going to take, they will be in a position to essentially balkanize Russia. My 2 cents, sir. I could be wrong, because the people behind...
There are all these games which are going on, and the deep state of USA has been playing this game a lot now for the past 25 years. So
Yes.
What you're saying, in fact, maybe more.
More.
Ever since, yeah, right. So that's how I leave it at that.
So there are lots of things at play here, and just wanted you to understand, viewers. Vishnu, I think the thing I like about this presentation from General Ravi Shankar is that he has actually clearly said how a war escalates. This happened, this happened, this happened, this is the damage, and this is the response. Right? So at least you know, because not all of us are reading every news item in every magazine. How many of them are slanted in one way or the other? We don't know. You have to have the capacity to, cut the grain, separate the grain from the chaff, and that's what the good general has done for us. So we should thank him for that. Thank you, sir. Now let's go to the next question. Vishnu Gopi says, General Sir, Black Ops personnel handling missile systems in Ukraine, yet Russia showing restraint till now. Will Britain be on the target now?
Look, let me put it this way. Who told you that Black Ops personnel are handling missile systems in Ukraine? And who are these Black Ops personnel? Are they mercenaries? Mercenaries are there in Ukraine. Mercenaries are there in Russia also. Well, that is a messed up situation. Okay. And Russia showing restraint, is it or not? After all, who started? This is a typical case of which came first, with the chicken or the egg. And both are competing to say I came first in this. Yeah, like what he said, why this war took place, one doesn't know. Why this war will end, one doesn't know. You know the broad parameters. This war didn't start now. It started in the last century. It got a physical manifestation when the Maidan Revolution took place. Okay, and Zelensky's predecessor was thrown out. Who was that? There was a lady, Julia Timoshenko. She was brought in. She was also thrown out, and then another chap was thrown out, and then Zelensky was put in. ये तो शेर बन गया अभी, right? You're the puppet. And if you see the way NATO has expanded eastwards, you will see that this entire war was avoidable completely by USA, and USA could have still achieved its goals. Russia would have achieved its goals with a bit of sense. But then, well, we are here where we are. You can't say now, okay, bhai, What happened, then we'll see. That means you're driving through this whole thing with a rear view mirror. You can't do that. You have to look ahead. Yeah.
Next one, please. Maithili wants to know, Shankarji, Namaskaram. Will Putin ever use nuke because of done? There will be some emergency declared and Trump's presidency will get delayed. This is United States
These are
emergency.
things which are going on. I don't think that will happen. I mean, these are all theories, all rumors. The social media is full of this nonsense. Nothing will happen.
Neelakantan wants to know, Naresh Neelakantan wants to know, what is the chance of missiles like Avangard being activated by Russia if the situation worsens into a worst case scenario?
We don't know. Everything is there. Why do you make a missile? To use it, not to just show it.
Next one, please. Thank you, Karthik Kesaraju. Sree Garu, what is the best email to reach you? I have some details about Hindus in Canada to share with you. Karthik ji, just use my initials S&I at PGurus.com and put in subject about Canada. That will help me pick it up. I may not be able to respond right away, but I do try to get to my email every once in a while. Ranga Swami wants to know, sir, after Russia's attack yesterday, will Ukraine dare to further escalate?
Look, this story is not over. This story is not over by any stretch of imagination. Something will go down, cool down, something will start, something will happen. 2 months is a long time. So let's see how it.
Next one,
for
please.
everyone, is a life and death situation. No?
Yeah. Namit Agarwal wants to know, Namaskarji, please help understand to layman. 1. What are the chances of war escalating in actuals and spreading to NATO/US? Let's take the first question first.
Yeah, look, at this point of time, the chances are less. Right? No one wants to get involved in this war to go beyond that. Whatever happens will happen within Russia and Ukraine. But if Russia gets hit tomorrow and Russia took some part of the West, then the war will go to the West. So, and that this window is of 2 months. The next 2 months, I said, is very tight, dicey for everyone. And the next 2 months will be dicey not only there, because one of these days you're going to see something happen between Israel and Iran. Israel and Iran also. Don't be surprised. That's also on a 2-month thing. And in between, Pakistan में कुछ हो रहा है. पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, ये तो दोनों है ना हमारे दाएं बाएं. वो पिक्चर है ना कि वो दाएं बाएं होता है बंदा. ऐसे हमारे पास भी है एक दाएं और बाएं. If those of you don't understand Hindi, we have one chap on the left and one chap on the right. One is Bangladesh, one is Pakistan. So they are also going to entertain us. Yeah.
No, just go back, please. He has 3 questions in that. Let's humor him once. Oh, it's deleted. Sorry about that. We couldn't take the second and third parts. It's okay. We have touched upon those things. Let's go to the next question. Manoj San wants to know, if outgoing Biden government wants more war escalation, but incoming Trump doesn't, then how does military manage the conflict/gap between these views during transition from one ruling government to the next?
Yeah, I wish I had been Biden or Trump to answer this.
Yes. It's very convenient. Biden is not in his full senses now, so he can always say, I don't know.
I mean, I really don't know how. Manoj sir, I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything. These are games which they're playing. I mean, it's part of this is their internal problem. So why should we bother about it too much?
Yesterday, I had put out a 4-minute or 5-minute monologue about this. A critical event has happened in this war. Do take a look at that, because I covered all these things also very quickly, like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So do watch that one. Next question, please. Second question of Namit Agarwal was, what time do you estimate the war to start, World War III? It's already started.
It's already started the way it. What will be the effect on India? I told you. We've explained to you. At this point of time, nothing. But if the domino effect takes place, we might find ourselves in a problem with India and China. Pakistan and China.
Next one, please. Partha wants to know, could cricket in USA be linked to promoting cricket/other sports in Latin America? West Indies cricketers regularly complain of sports in that region being highly underdeveloped. Guyana visit.
From where have you gone? From Ukraine to the cricket fields of Guyana. But Partha, it's like this. you have a logic, and I like the idea of our Prime Minister going to Guyana. People must understand we have cricket links with Guyana, West Indies. Guyana is part of the West Indies, right? And there's been a lot of oil discovered now in Guyana, and we are one of the 3 biggest importers of oil in the world and consumers of oil. So our Prime Minister has gone there, and 50% or plus of Guyanese citizens are of Indian origin. So he's got some resonance out there, hopefully. And we should be having a steady, source supply of oil, for supply of energy. To that extent, if we take cricket along with West Indies, even fund West Indies board, I'm not unhappy. Because at times you have to play cricket to get oil.
Sir, 2007 World Cup in West Indies, in Caribbean nations, all the stadia were built using BCCI money, sir. A lot of that was done. Superb quality stadia.
Maybe.
And that is all something that can be turned on. It's not that hard.
I
mean, the hard work has been done.
We have, see, look, Partha, you actually raised a good question. In the sense, we have some tremendous influence there. People think we don't have influence there, but we have tremendous influence in the South American continent. Cricket. Okay. Yeah. And we need to exploit it. We need to exploit the goodwill and everything. Okay. And convert it into political capital.
Yeah. Chirantan Saha wants to know, after Trump, if US-Russia conflict settles down and if US-China conflict escalates, then will that situation be good for India, both economically and militarily?
Yeah. At the outset, it is. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. On that, there's no doubt. What happens later, we'll see. Whether it happens that way also is a difficult question.
Okay. How to reach out to General Ravi Shankar on email? Sir, you want to answer this or you want to do it later?
No, you just see. It's there in my this thing. What's that? Channel. Just go to the channel.
Gunner shot. Look at Gunner shot, and then you'll have the information.
And you'll find it.
My email is my initials, S as in Sam, I as in Iyer, at PGurus.com. That's what it is. Very simple. So can't assure you that I'll jump on it right away. It's in the description too. Yes. So thank you once again, General Ravi Shankar. Every time we have you on our channel, there's a revelation. There is more information, much more handled in a way that people can understand and assimilate, and be a better person to understand and discern in your day-to-day life judgments also. So we are living in troubled times. It's important to tell you the truth. That has been our objective, and so has it been with General Ravi Shankar. If you look at General Ravi Shankar, his output has gone up tremendously now. I think almost one video every day, and that takes a lot of prep. You saw this PowerPoint, how many places that he had to refer to get to that data. So you know that he wants to leave this as one of those things that people will remember him. I have the same goal too, that you put something out there that is correct, that is valid, that will stand the test of time, which is what I feel. I'm very indebted to General Ravi Shankar for his friendship and trust in me. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.